Always bear in mind that your own resolution to succeed is more important than any other, said Abraham Lincoln. Your own resolution to succeed, I believe this. To change a community, a country, a world, begins with the smallest of steps. This is a lesson I learned 2 years ago in Israel, and one that has been reaffirmed this summer in Washington, D.C. 2 years ago, I was part of the biggest social change in Israel in the past 20 years. After years of government policies that were not in favor of the middle and lower classes, we stood up and demanded justice. The cost of living in Israel had become far too high. At first, there were only a few of us, but our resolution and belief was strong. Our message was simple. The people demand social justice. Slowly, we built a movement that grew into hundreds of thousands walking the streets of Tel Aviv, Jerusalem, Haifa, Beersheba, and more. Together, we chanted the same message. The people demand social justice. But like many significant changes, it began very small. In fact, I remember the day it began for me. In a symbolic protest, a few of us built 10 tents outside the walls of the old city of Jerusalem. The movement with tents and marches lasted only one summer, but we were able to create a momentum that completely transformed the face of the Israeli society. We are now coming to the end of another summer, our new story leadership experience. A very different summer from that summer in tents, but one so full of promise, one with so many similarities, the heat, the enthusiasm, the friendships, but there is also one completely new element, Palestinians. My NSL summer in Washington, in some respects, has been a summer of protest against the lack of progress. We have spent the last 7 weeks doing what our leaders should be doing, listening to each other's points of view, discussing possible solutions, and going ahead with our vision for a peaceful resolution of the conflict. I have seen Israel gradually changing in front of my eyes. We managed to bring over 400,000 people onto the streets, but it took 18 months to transform public discourse. Today, you can see it in the papers, you can see it in the news, you can see it just walking into bar or cafes, listening to people's conversations. Last January, for the first time in decades, social economic issues became what the Israeli public voted on. Some of the new Israeli members of parliament, the Knesset, are the ones that headed the protest and are my age. It took time, but we intend to do the same again. The fruits of this summer, our NSL summer, may also take time. But before you stand 10 committed activists, 10 activists for a better way forward, 10 activists who want to change the face of the Middle East conflict, and not only change it, end it. What I shouted at those protests 2 years ago is still what I believe. The people demand social justice. But this summer has emphasized that social justice is not restricted to only one people. Justice doesn't stop at the green line, the Israeli-Palestinian ceasefire line. I believe that a call for social justice must also be a call for a Palestinian state. I believe that the two-state solution is an imperative. It is an imperative not only because it is just, but also because any other solution will be the end of democracy, the end of a Jewish majority, the end of the Zionist dream. I am a Zionist. Now, I know that the definition of Zionism is not clear. We are arguing about it in Israel on a daily basis. To me, Zionism means that Israel should be a democratic country that respects the right of minorities. To me, it means that living in a country where the Jewish majority can be safe and free after centuries of persecution. But not only that. I learned to love my homeland by traveling its length and breadth. I grew up in a kibbutz. As a teenager, I milked the cows. But my Zionism also taught me that people, regardless of religion, Jewish, Muslim, or Christian, deserve the right to self-determination, and the right to have a country they call home. This summer with NSL taught me that this is possible. We are a small group. We have courage. We are young, we are motivated, and we can change. Coming to Washington was not the beginning, but a direct continuation for me. I know that if I want to make the change, I must find my counterparts on the Palestinian side. I must hear and understand their thoughts on the solution and reject the filter of the often sensationalist media. And I could not be more satisfied. For the first time in my life, I have met Palestinians my age. I have met wonderful people who want to live in peace and dignity, who want to change their life and their society for the better. Every day, you, my group members, inspire me. I now know who my allies are. I now have allies to bring the change we want to see. I now know we are all united in this cause. Even though we have differences, I truly believe we have a shared goal. And just as it took time in Israel to see the result of that summer protest of 2011, the outcome of us meeting here will take time to be apparent. It's trendy today to be pessimistic. I don't care for trends. Paul, the director of our program, told us on our very first day in Washington that when he was our age, he studied conflict resolution. His professor told him that there are 3 conflicts they would not study because they're unsolvable. South African apartheid, the troubles in Ireland, and the Israeli-Palestinian conflict. 2 decades later, in 2013, it's 2 down, 1 to go. It's popular to be pessimistic today, but experience had taught me that only those who don't let cynicism put them down see their vision implemented. One of this nation's finest women, Eleanor Roosevelt, once said, "The future belongs to those who believe in the beauty of their dreams." Roosevelt was echoing the words of Lincoln that I started with. Always bear in mind that your own resolution to succeed is more important than any other. I would add that the future belongs not only to those who believe, but to those who act on their dreams. I now have 9 friends who believe and who with me will stand up and act. Thank you.